I'm Shadan Larki from Awards Buzz here with Cooper Koch from Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story. Cooper, how are you? First of
I'm
all,
great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, so I watched the show when it came out, and then I watched it again in preparation to speak to you. And one of the
Oh,
things that
wow.
has really struck me, and I kept thinking about because you've been asked over and over again, how has your life changed through this whole thing? But one of the things that has really stayed with me is like the weight of something like this, because I feel like when you're a young actor and you get the call that you're the lead in a Ryan Murphy project, you know what that means, right? Like it's going to be a big thing. And then you also know that for a young generation that's our age and younger, like this is their introduction to these men, this case. And so there's the weight of that aspect. There's like the emotional, everything that you have to do. How does that like weigh on you and inform the decisions you make? And what does it feel like now to be removed from it?
Great question. Yeah, it's a lot. It's very heavy. Not only the subject matter, but also like the life change. Um, but I think I've been handling it the best I can. I have a really great support system, amazing family, amazing partner, and yeah, I kind of just I think I've just been keeping my head down and trying to stay ready for the next job while also feeling like, I'm still refilling the well. It was a lot. I put a lot of my blood, sweat, and tears into that show and that part. And so, yeah, you're right on the money there. It's definitely a lot, but so worthwhile. So, um, yeah, a life-changing, amazing experience that I will treasure forever.
And can I ask how you, in terms of like whatever your personal feelings may be about the case, like how did that maybe play into how you calibrated the role? Did it play into it? Did you play certain moments thinking like innocence or guilt or doubt even? Like how did you calibrate that aspect?
Yeah, it's complicated because one, they're not necessarily innocent. They definitely did murder their parents. Um, but what I was always focused on was why. And that was that was my through line. And I think also just I knew going into playing this part that advocacy, at least for me, was going to be a huge part of my process, um, and empathy, just understanding where this person was coming from and understanding their childhood and why he did the things that he did or didn't say the things that he maybe should have said, or you know I went into it with a lot of empathy, a lot of support and belief on behalf of my character and the real person, and that helped tremendously um with playing him every day, because I think when you're acting just in general, you're creating character, you always have to have their back. You can't ever judge them or think of them as guilty, or even characters that are despicable and evil like the Joker, or like, you know, horrible people that you play. You always have to get inside them and understand why they are the way they are and be their biggest champion.
And I don't know, you can tell me if you disagree. For me, I felt like your performance was sort of like I could put whatever my personal feelings were in that moment onto your performance. Like if I was convinced in that moment that like the things that he was saying were true, then I completely like felt that. And then if I felt like no, he's being like manipulative or maybe not telling the full truth here, then I could find little things in your like a little smirk or a little smile, or I could be like, but what does this mean? I felt like I could, really telegraph whatever I was, and I was wondering like if that was on purpose.
No, uh, I always wanted for the audience to empathize and sympathize with Eric. I wanted them to believe that what he was telling was true in terms of, talking about the abuse or the history of life with his family. I always wanted the audience to know that what he was saying was truthful. Or, for example, like in the Ozeal stuff in the beginning when Eric is lying, I wanted there to be an understanding or a confusion of like, well, this story doesn't really make sense. Like, why something's not lining up here. And then even in the stuff too, where there's scenes from other people's perspective, that was something where I had to kind of rewire my brain and be playing the version of who other people thought he was and that or thought he did or said or acted. And so yeah, that was sort of a challenge, but I always tried to keep on this same through line of like this person, uh this is why he did what he did, and this is why he is the way that he is.
I mean, episode 5 is such a unique episode. It's literally only your face. We see, your lawyer Ari briefly. She walks in, but like mostly, I mean, not mo it's all you. And then towards the end of the episode, the camera comes even closer. How do you? And then of course he's describing this abuse that is just heinous, and it tears you apart on so many different levels, and like it just like unfurls in a like devastatingly. It gets worse and worse, right? And so how do you again prepare for that, like emotionally? How do you calibrate? Like how do you do what you do, Cooper?
So honestly, I I don't know sometimes. I mean, I just really just did as much work on it as I could. I had the script for a really long time. I got it in June, and we didn't shoot that episode until March. So I had like 8 months with it. And you know how when you hear like about actors and they create backstories for their characters, like I didn't have to do much creating for my backstory because it was all written for me. Like that whole episode was my backstory. And all I really had to do was listen to testimony and read that script over and over again and visualize and create those memories so strongly for me that when I think about them or would go to recount them, they would just appear and affect me emotionally. And I mean, that just happened through like reading the script every day, writing the script out, thinking about what those memories that he recounts looked like. Like what did my bedroom look like? What was my bed like? What time of day did this thing happen? What did the street look like? And when you create the memory so strongly for you, then when you go to shoot it, it's just and you trust yourself, then it just is there for you. But that's also a huge thing too of like I had done so much work on it, but then going to do it, you're still like, oh God, I hope it comes out. I hope I've done enough. And so that trust that you have to have with yourself is probably the biggest challenge versus like getting emotional or remembering your lines. I think just trusting yourself that like I'm gonna be able to be present in every moment and live truthfully through this thing.
Well, I mean, the delivery is really interesting because there are certain moments where like the he can't finish the sentence, right? And his lawyer kind
Mm.
of has to guide him through the story, and there are certain moments where he like has a deep sigh, like you can feel all this thing.
Yeah.
The tears don't come until the end. And what I was curious about is how much of that was scripted, how much of that was you planning ahead, how much of that was you during the that moment? Like how did you feel your way through that?
I try never to plan anything. I always just try to experience the moment as if it's happening for the first time. Um, I think there's a couple times where there's, you know, directions written of like he, takes a deep breath here or he starts crying. And I always try to cross all that stuff out just so I'm not thinking of like, okay, I have to hit this moment here. I have to cry here. I have to, you know, sigh here. I try to just live truthfully through the entire thing and see what happens. I think the preparation of it is there, or you just prepare so that you have the freedom and the luxury to get there on the day, and then just to like let it go and let it fly and see how it comes out. And I think the best work comes out of that when you just let yourself go.
And in the finale, when Erik says to Lyle, like, I wish I had killed you too, and they have this really like this confrontation and again this catharsis of like all these things come out. How and again this relationship is so complicated because there's so much pain and like hatred at that point at the end, but also like this deep love that also comes out like in the little moment with the fixing of the tie and all these like beautiful things. How did you? Because to me, like that moment, again, and you said it so beautifully where you like you understand the monstrousness of it, but then you're still struck by it at the same time. And so can you sort of talk me through the preparation and how you mentally got there and physically got there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, sometimes when we're really frustrated by something or we get really angry as people, we say things that we don't necessarily mean and we can lose our cool. And I think that was just sort of what was happening to Eric in that moment that we created. And, I mean, he'd been in jail for 6 years at that point, and he was frustrated with the way that Lyle was handling certain things, and it really did end up kind of screwing them over for that second trial with the book, and with just his attitude about things. And I think he was just really frustrated and struggling and also scared. Not knowing what your fate was going to be is a really sort of difficult place to live in, and just the unknown of what my life is going to be like. So I think all of that can lead to a significant amount of rage and frustration and pain. And I think that was just sort of what came out. And it was also coming to the end of us shooting and being done with the whole show. And um so I was also like tired and yeah, just ready to like let it all come out. And yeah.
Well, I feel like watching the show, I had the same reaction that thousands, millions of other people had, where I was like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And like, it's very rare that that happens where you feel like you've discovered somebody. So like, who do you want to be, or who do you hope to become as you sort of launch this career? Like, how would you define? Have you been like asking yourself these sort of existential questions? I clearly have on your behalf, I guess, but
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a weird transition. And I I got to a really good place right before I got this show, and I had struggled a lot with, auditioning and with relationships and just with what my life was looking like with being an actor, or, not working or getting rejected or anything like that. Um, and then I got to a really good place, and then the job kind of revealed itself to me. And so I hope that I could always be that person who has really high vibrations and is attracting really good things in, whether that be work or, um, you know, just positive things in life. I don't know what else it looks like in terms of like looking up to someone whose career I admire, emulate. I've been saying Robert Pattinson for a while because he's just made really interesting choices. Like, I mean, obviously he started with Twilight, and then he's done some really interesting indie films like Good Time and Lighthouse, and then I really loved Mickey 17, and now I think he's just finishing a movie with Christopher Borgli, and I love that director. He's just made like awesome choices, and if I were to want to pick someone to emulate my career after, I think it'd be him.
yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that because he also has a lot of young fans, and I feel like, as I mentioned, the show has really taken off with younger audiences in a way that I
Yeah.
love. And so, and you mentioned like wanting to be an advocate. Like, how do you feel about that? And what are you hoping that maybe this younger generation takes from this? Especially because in the finale, Erik kind of says, like, well, maybe in the future people are going to be fed up with this system that put these boys away, and I feel like that has happened now.
I think it has too. Yeah, I mean, hope that I just hope they get out. That's all I'll say.
So are you working on anything now? I mean, you mentioned like refilling the well. What does that look like for you? You know, are you working on anything that you can talk about?
No, I'm not. I'm looking for what's next. And it's been a delicate, interesting process of reading for things, and I've read some stuff that I've liked, some stuff I haven't liked, and I'm just being really delicate about it. And I just want to work on something that I feel I can grip into, grip onto in the same way of just feeling a lot of empathy and feeling really passionate about the story that I'm telling. So I've just been looking for that thing to work on next. But on the interim, I've been back in my acting class. So I'm just like working on my scene studies and working on a play. And I've been taking singing lessons again, just working on my voice. I've been in the gym a lot and just like working on my mental health and just staying sort of ready for when the thing does come that I feel really passionate about and that I want to sort of chase. I'll be ready to chase and hunt it down.
Is it something that you hope would require this same level of like preparation, or do you kind of want to do something fun where you're like, I just want to come in, sing, and leave, or you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like this is
Yeah, well, I, I even if it was something that was like light or fun, I still will put the same amount of preparation into it. I always want to create a fully fleshed out human being. And so in that respect, I will have to sort of create what their upbringing was like and who their parents were and what the inside of their bedroom looked like when they were 10 years old or what their first soccer game looked like or any of those kinds of memories that really like fill a person, and whether that's in a comedy space or a Disney space or whatever, it'll still require the same amount of work and preparation. And yeah, I just want to do something that I feel excited about and passionate about. And yeah, I'm just being patient and waiting for the right thing.
Cooper, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you wanted to touch on? I want to make sure you have the final word here as I
Mm.
begrudgingly let you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we covered it all. Is there anything else that you can think of?
No, I just want to say it's nice to meet you in this context, but it's also nice to meet your talent and get to, like I said, I feel like we got a new, like I don't know, a new treat in the world of acting, and it's just fun to see where you go, and I wish you the
Yeah.
best.
Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, and good luck. I loved you at the Golden Globes in your Armani, so I hope you'll be at
Oh,
the
thank you.
as an whatever fabulous to
Me too. Crossing my
cross
fingers.
your fingers, right? I'll be rooting for you. Thank you so much, Cooper.
Thank you. Have a good one.